What if I told you that most cyber attacks don't start with code? They don't begin with advanced malware. They don't begin with zero-day exploits. They don't begin inside a server room. They begin with a human being. A click, a moment of curiosity, a split second of trust. When we talk about cybercrime, we often imagine hooded hackers in dark rooms, typing aggressively on glowing keyboards. But the reality is far less cinematic and far more uncomfortable. Cybercrime is not just a technical problem, it's a human problem. And until we understand the human side of cybercrime, the psychology, the emotions, the biases, the motivations, we will never truly be able to stop it. Today, we're going deeper, not into firewalls, not into encryption algorithms, but into people. The weakest link is not technology. In cybersecurity, there's a phrase you've probably heard: humans are the weakest link. But that statement is incomplete. Humans are not weak. Humans are predictable. Cybercriminals don't hack machines first. They hack behavior. They understand urgency. They understand fear. They understand authority. They understand curiosity. Phishing emails don't work because they are technically sophisticated. They work because they trigger emotional reactions. Your account will be suspended. You have an unpaid invoice. Your package failed to deliver. Click here immediately. Notice the pattern: urgency and anxiety. When the brain perceives urgency, it shifts from analytical thinking to survival mode. In psychology, this reduces our ability to evaluate risk. We react instead of reflect. Cybercriminals exploit this cognitive shortcut. This is called social engineering, manipulating human psychology to gain access or information. It's not about breaking encryption, it's about breaking attention. Why smart people still get hacked. Here's something important. Intelligence does not make you immune. Executives, engineers, IT professionals, even cybersecurity experts have fallen victim to scams. Why? Because cybercrime doesn't target intelligence, it targets emotion. Let's look at some common psychological triggers. 1. Authority bias. If an email appears to come from a CEO or government institution, we are more likely to comply. 2. Scarcity and urgency. Limited time, immediate action required. These phrases override rational evaluation. 3. Familiarity. If the message appears to come from someone we know, our guard drops. 4. Greed or opportunity. Investment scams promise high returns with minimal risk. They don't look absurd, they look plausible. Cybercriminals conduct reconnaissance. They study LinkedIn profiles. They observe company structures. They mimic internal communication styles. This is not random spam anymore. This is targeted psychological warfare. The frightening part? The more connected we become, the more predictable we become, the human on the other side. Now let's talk about something rarely discussed: the human behind the attack. Who becomes a cybercriminal? Not everyone fits the stereotype. Some are financially desperate. Some are recruited into organized cybercrime networks. Some start with curiosity and gradually escalate. Some justify their actions as just business. In certain regions, cyber fraud has become industrialized. There are scripts, training manuals, performance targets. Yes, performance targets. Social engineering scripts are optimized like sales scripts. Attackers measure conversion rates. They refine persuasion techniques. It's disturbing, but it reveals something crucial. Cybercrime is not always driven by chaos. It's driven by incentives: low risk, high reward, global reach, and anonymity. From a behavioral economics perspective, when perceived reward outweighs perceived risk, participation increases. The internet lowered the cost of crime and removed physical confrontation. When there's no physical victim in front of you, moral inhibition decreases. Psychologists call this moral disengagement. Distance reduces empathy, and digital crime creates maximum distance. The emotional aftermath. We often measure cybercrime in financial losses, millions stolen, billions compromised, but the real damage is psychological. Victims report shame, embarrassment, self-blame, paranoia, loss of trust. Many don't report incidents because they feel foolish. I should have known better. But cyber attacks are engineered to bypass rational thinking. Falling for one is not a sign of stupidity, it's a sign of being human. Businesses suffer too. Beyond financial impact, there's reputational damage, internal blame, and employee burnout. Incident response teams experience high stress. Security professionals operate in constant anticipation of breach. Cybercrime creates a climate of fear, and fear changes behavior. People become overly cautious. Distrust increases. Communication slows down. In this way, cybercrime doesn't just steal data, it erodes trust, the foundation of digital society. The future, awareness over fear. So what do we do? More technology helps, but it's not enough. You can install firewalls, you can deploy endpoint detection, you can implement zero-trust architecture. But if a human willingly gives away credentials, technology becomes irrelevant. The solution is not paranoia, it's awareness. Cybersecurity training must go beyond "don't click suspicious links." It must explain how manipulation works, how cognitive bias works, how emotional triggers work. When people understand the psychology behind attacks, they regain control. Instead of reacting emotionally, they pause. And that pause is powerful. On a broader level, we also need to rethink digital literacy. Cybersecurity should not be an IT department responsibility alone. It should be cultural, from schools to corporations to governments, because cybercrime evolves with human behavior, and human behavior evolves with technology. Artificial intelligence will amplify both sides, attackers and defenders. Deepfakes will manipulate trust visually. AI-generated phishing will remove language errors. Personalization will become hyper-targeted, which means the human element becomes even more critical. The future battlefield of cybercrime is psychological. The real defense. Cybercrime is not just about hackers versus systems, it's about people versus manipulation. It's about attention versus urgency, awareness versus emotion, pause versus impulse. The uncomfortable truth is this: technology can patch vulnerabilities in code, but only awareness can patch vulnerabilities in behavior. So the next time you receive an urgent email, the next time something feels slightly off, the next time fear or excitement pushes you to act immediately, cybercriminals rely on speed. Your greatest defense is time. Because in the end, the strongest firewall is not software, it's a conscious human mind.